All right, Darlene, I have a question. Were you there for 3 years at BYU?
Yeah.
3 years. It's amazing. I've got two friends who graduated from BYU in their 4th year, and they happened to be gay, and they got married in California when it was legal, way back when it was. But yeah, had you stayed maybe the 4th year, you might have. Might have. Okay. All right, so being and living your life out loud and proud, we're seeing that happening more and more on campuses, whether it's the college campuses or now even high school campuses, as JT is actually heading up a lot of the programs or trying to push programs into the high schools that need and want it, and younger for students that happen to be secular, can feel unalone. We are very happy to have with us a guest speaker from the Secular Student Alliance, Ashley Paramore.
Hello, everybody. So, as Alex said, my name is Ashley Paramore. I am the Development Director for the Secular Student Alliance, and I'm going to kind of let you guys know what we are, what we're about, what we do, so on and so forth. So, the Secular Student Alliance strives to empower students for a secular future. We want to make it so secular students are an active part of the, for lack of better words, charge against irrationality and dogma. Now, how do we do that? We're largely a support network. To date, we have about 263 student groups. It's changing almost every day, which is very, very exciting, like Alex said earlier, with the almost 30% of students. You might not find that so surprising. But most of them focus on atheism or skepticism in some way, shape, or form. I think to date we have about 20-ish high school groups. JT Eberhard is our new high school campus organizer. We just launched that program this year. Most of our groups are in the U.S., but we have about 20-something international that kind of fall in Canada. There's a few in the U.K. and Nairobi, of all places. But the best way to kind of understand about what it is that we do and how we support students is by looking at what students actually do, and that falls into community, activism, education, service, and cooperation. So the first thing is community. Why do people join groups? Does anybody know? Okay. Yeah, well, strength in numbers, but people are looking for like-minded people. They want to be part of a community. We're very social creatures when you look at it evolutionarily speaking, but what we try and do is provide a community for those who don't have it. I'm originally from a town with about 5,000 people in the middle of the cornfields in Ohio, so it was a big deal for me to be able to move to Columbus and go to the Ohio State University and meet like-minded people. Now, this could take on a variety of forms, whether it's just, meeting up afterwards for potluck, like you guys are doing today, which I'm very excited about. It could be road trips to conferences. It could be drinking, because, students never, ever do that. But community is a very, very, very important thing. The second thing is activism, and this falls into a couple of different forms. What we consider ourselves doing is outsiders activism. We are the outsiders going in trying to change the status quo. This could be students fighting school prayer, we'll say, in a public school. We've actually got something like that going on with a high school in Rhode Island. They're putting off starting their group because of the legal kerfuffle they're in right now. Or, as you guys know, in the secular communities, we have a lot of GBLT things students will get involved in. One of my favorite things that one of the groups has done is something called cookies and milk. So they were giving away cookies in exchange for donations, and they watched Harvey Milk, which I think is a brilliant idea. The other thing is insiders activism, and this is one of my favorite things to talk about. We just recently in February had a regional leadership summit in Southern California at California Lutheran. They're a private school. The guy that runs that group, his name's Evan Clark. He started the group Open Active Atheist, and this past year got voted on as the student body president at California Lutheran, which is interesting. It is kind of neat to see a difference in that realm happening today, and I love it. He was telling me that, that their actual admissions department is like, well, we're a religious school, but we're not that religious. Look at our atheist president. The second is the third thing is education. So this can be in the student community and beyond. Almost all of our groups do some type of Ask an Atheist something, whether it's just tabling or a panel, where they'll get questions like, well, if you don't believe in God, where do you go after you die? Or what do you scream out in bed if, there is no God? But it's not just about educating the community, it's also educating ourselves. So some groups will bring in Ask a Christian, Mormon, Muslim, Scientologist, etc. Or maybe just bring in a speaker to talk about stem cell research. The fourth thing is service. Life is short, we've got one life, let's try and make it a better place. So this could be like maybe doing a bleed and feed. I was talking to a group that we have in Colorado, Boulder. I told them about that, and the girl's like, you know what? We're going to do a pint for a pint. And as long as you're 21 and older, that's fine. Other groups will just raise money for charity, like Doctors Without Borders. We've had groups even go down to New Orleans and help build houses. The last thing is cooperation, which might seem a little bit out of the place with some of the stuff, but it's very, very important. So we don't only encourage our students to work just within the secular communities, but to cooperate with other groups on campus, whether it's maybe the LGBT on campus, the African Student Association, or whatever they're called, but something that's not just atheists. That way you can reach out to other people, but not just on campus, off. We definitely want our students to get involved with off-campus groups, even the secular groups, just to get that kind of networking experience and grow our community. And actually, we just got a $100,000 matching offer this year, so we're going to be starting a program next year called the Alumni Program that encourages student groups once they graduate. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a large gap between when students graduate and from when they get back involved. It's kind of like no offense, but you guys probably know this, like old white dudes club going to these things. So we want to hold on to our students and tie them into both their local and national communities. Now, I know I'm a student myself, but it is really fantastic to see more and more students getting involved in the movement and the huge growth that we've had. So, we're a national organization located in Columbus, Ohio right now, and like I said, we support students. There should be a group running guide going around somewhere for you guys to take a look at, as well as pens. And by the way, there's brochures in the hall. Please feel free to take as many of them as you want, because I do not want to take them home on the plane with me tomorrow. So we provide a speakers bureau where students can tap into speakers for no honorarium or a reduced fee, tabling supplies, project grants, travel grants so they can get to leadership conventions and some of the other national conventions. The group starting guide the group running guide that's getting handed around, we also give away as part of a big packet to new groups that includes flyers, thumbtacks so they don't even have to run to Staples. And the guide itself includes things from the university bureaucracy crap that students have to go through to the group running ideas, discussion topics, and succession planning, which is really important for new groups so they don't die. We do have a national leadership convention every year, and as of right now, we're doing about 3 regionals. And I know, I'm not sure how yet, but I was talking to a couple people. We're going to be involved in some way at the Texas Freethought Convention this year, so come and say hi to all the fun students. Yes. So the next question is how much does this cost our students? Not a dime. We do not force any of our students to become members, and we don't charge the groups. We want to pull in as many students to support as possible, but how many of you have been students before? Yeah. How much money do students have? Okay, yeah. So we don't control any of our groups. They're completely autonomous. They just have to meet 4 requirements. They have to be politically and economically neutral because we are a 501c3. They have to be non-discriminatory, philosophically naturalistic, and civil rights minded. So we don't want any, short earth creationists or people that are going to, be gay bashing. Now, since our students don't have money, and I as a student myself do not have money, where does our funding come from? The majority of it comes from individual supporters just like you. We do get some foundational money, but it's very, very slim. So we're a membership organization, and for students that do decide to join, it's about a $10 membership, and then they get reduced rates at conferences. Non-students is $35, and as long as you're a member, you can vote on our board of directors or even run for our board of directors. Now, I am very strongly of the belief that, one, it takes all types of people for a movement to be successful, but also all generations. And considering, like I said, old white dudes club syndrome, I really do believe that it takes the movement to support students, so students can support the movement. We can further diversify our movement as well. So I'll be around all day, and thank you.